after the win in Montreal by Pablo Mastroeni, RSL's head coach. And Pablo, way to see the future. You were talking to us. You said no matter what happens in the first goal, the guys can't have too emotional response, whether we go up a goal or go down a goal. They got to keep bringing it. And well, I guess you didn't call the goal in the first minute. Who the heck would call that? But the response you called, you have to be pretty happy with the way that worked out.
Yeah, obviously disappointed with the way the game started, and I think, our ability to get in the game and really dictate the game, I felt like on both sides of the ball for large portions of that first half, really, we got a lot of belief as a group. And again, at halftime, I'm saying we got to double down on everything we did in the first half without losing that edge, but not becoming over emotional. We can't win it in 44 minutes in the second half, 45. We're going to have to go to injury time, and the guys just stayed the course and played fantastic.
Pablo, DJ and I were having an interesting conversation about what the halftime conversation might have looked like inside of that locker room. And you and I have played for the same managers. We've played for different managers, and there's that unique difference, right? Of sometimes when you're winning a game, your manager hammers you. Sometimes when you're losing a game, it's more of a rah-de-rah. How do you kind of walk that dynamic during your halftime talks, trying to get the best out of your group that maybe didn't start the way you wanted?
Well, it's really interesting. I've come to realize that the first thing I do is when I walk in the locker room, I get a feel for the group. Are their heads down? Are they talking? Is there communication amongst the guys? And when I walked in the locker room at halftime, they were getting after it in a positive way. Fellas, this is the best half we've played. We got to get after it. We got to stay on the pedal. Don't lose focus. So then I have to say very little. Again, could we talk about this player-led? When they're doing it, my voice doesn't need to be heard. We just talked about a couple tactical things that we wanted to adjust in regards to where we were finding a lot of success, and really double down on that. But again, it's really about the feel that I get when I walk in the locker room that dictates the halftime.
So speaking of halftime, second consecutive game in which you guys have come down from a goal to take the full 3 points. Again, we talk about the context of individual games versus the course of the season. But for you, I would assume building blocks. What does this kind of give you in terms of gleaning into the identity of what you want to see from your group with these last two matches?
Yeah, no, I think one of the things that we've spoken about at length, and we chatted about it last night, was, again, being a team that is dangerous with the ball. I thought early on, especially after that New York City game, we were much more comfortable defending than we were attacking. And I think with every game that we play, we grow much more confident in our ability with the ball, creating good opportunities on goal without losing that defensive bite. And I think when you can play both sides of the ball with the type of mentality that we've been playing these last two games, these are really building blocks. And so, again, I couldn't be more proud of this group and the way they've approached it, and more importantly, how they've believed in themselves in a way that this team today looks nothing like the team at the beginning of the year. And so the idea is we continue evolving, continue learning from every game, whether we win or lose, and being a team that is, one of the toughest teams on both sides of the ball to play against.
Pablo, you've talked to us about players needing to embrace the moment, embrace the responsibility and pressure that comes with taking a big shot. And Sergio Cordova has chosen sometimes to lay the ball off. He took a shot, it went just wide. He still felt comfortable enough to take that second shot, and obviously he buried it for the game winner. How happy are you for him right now?
I couldn't be more happy. Serge is a guy that has the potential to be a great player in this league and really leave a mark in this league. And I think the one thing that he's been lacking is the desire to take shots even from bad angles. And so, we've been talking to him, the last couple days about really being a threat when balls are in crossing opportunities, playing inside the post. When you're in and around the box, just shoot. And today, you have these conversations and you hope it resonates. At the end of the day, he made a fantastic play, I think he showed his class today.
Pablo, I'm going to ask you to look forward, and I know often you like to talk more about the collective than the individual, but with Jefferson Savarino joining up with this group this week, what does he potentially bring not only to the core group inside the locker room and on the training field, but maybe more importantly, the physical traits or the assets that he brings to the team when he's in the starting 11 or on the field?
Yeah, no, I think Jefferson is a player that he's a real threat. I think he'll be one of the first players listed on our opponent's defensive sheet as to who they have to keep an eye on. A player that can really create space for our attackers running in behind and our midfielders getting on the ball. And obviously finding him between the lines to allow him to do his thing. He's a creator, he's a facilitator, but he's also a goal scorer. So I'm looking forward to having him with the group. I think he's coming into the group at a very good time, and just really excited to have him on board.
So let's wrap this up right where we started it, Pablo. We were talking about within the game, you can't have an emotional response. You can't get too high, too low. You got to keep grinding. Big picture, the back-to-back wins feel great. The plane ride home after a road win is always great, but you can't get too high, too low, because here comes another one. The grind continues. Is that going to be the message of the team going out to training this week?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really important as a group that we focus on doubling down. I think a lot of times you want to put your foot off the gas in these moments, and it's really about squeezing it harder and really grinding through training and really demanding more from each other. And that'll be the focus, because again, there's no one taking their foot off the gas here. We're a third of the way in, and it's only going to get tougher. So these are great moments to learn from, and for me, it's more about the belief, the mentality, and the effort, the quality on the field. It's got to continue to get better.
Pablo, thanks for joining us here. We appreciate a few minutes with you, and safe travels home.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Pops.
Paulo Mastroeni, RSL's head coach, after they concede in the first minute and then come back with a pair of second-half goals. Justin Glad off the corner. Sergio Cordova, the game winner. More on the post-game show in a minute.